Hello everybody. When you go shopping, you're either buying something you want or something you need. And the trouble is, a lot of the time, what we need is not necessarily what we want. And what we might want is not necessarily what we need.
So I thought it was worth looking at the difference between what we want and what we need, particularly this week. Yes, it's Black Friday, this kind of, feeding frenzy of consumer activity. Let's not knock it. Black Friday offers incredible value, and lots of people manage to afford things who couldn't afford things any other time of the year because of those amazing discounts. We at ThinkSpace are doing Black Friday, so we've got Black Friday offers out there, just like lots of other people. But in this year of all years, when quite a lot of people just can't afford to spend extra money, maybe it's worth having a look at this from a different perspective. So what I'm going to be giving you today is 5 ways not to spend money during this Black Friday week. And if you are an inveterate Black Friday buyer like me, 5 ways to convince yourself that what you want is actually what you need. Let's get started.
Okay, the 5 top tips for avoiding spending money in Black Friday. Number 1, you've already got the sound you want. Before you leap out there and buy this new sample library, this new plugin, this new whatever else it is, why don't you investigate the stuff you've got already? I would bank on the fact that if you have a really good look at all those instruments you've got on your hard drive, all those bits of software, all that kind of stuff, that if you delve in there, there's sounds you've never touched, features you were completely blissfully unaware of. If you only read the manual, you might have discovered all these exciting things. Go, I didn't know it did that. And you're about to go and spend lots of money on something to do something very similar. And so I think the first thing you should do, before you even consider any of these Black Friday deals, why don't you go and reinvestigate the stuff you've already got and find out all those wonderful, scrumptious features which just slipped under the radar first time. And now is their moment. Now is the moment you're going to find. And when you discover them, you'll get that little frisson of excitement that we get when we buy something new, because you're discovering something new all over again. If you've got, for example, East West Composer Cloud, check out the East West Symphonic Orchestra, the original one, Trombone Portato. It's a lovely sound. It's a really, really good sound, and it's every bit as good as something which you would pay quite a lot of money for, straight off the shelf now. Number 2. Go free. You don't have to pay for things, because there are so many wonderful libraries out there and bits of software which are completely free, gratis for nothing. There is so much free stuff out there now, more than ever before, and it's really, really good. Some of it's incredible. And it's not just BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover by Spitfire or Spitfire Labs. Beyond that, there's a whole world of free drum machines, samplers, orchestral instruments, pianos, synthesizers, drum kits, everything you could possibly want. Lots of them are really, really great. You'll get the same buzz of excitement when you load up a free sample as when one you paid loads and loads of money for. Just put VST plugin free or VST instrument free into a search engine, and this whole new world will open up in front of you. And you'll get just as much fun and excitement for downloading something like that and getting into these really amazing new instruments without actually damaging your wallet. It won't therefore empty your pockets, but you will get the buzz of getting something new. Number 3, setting limits actually boosts your creativity. It's sort of counterintuitive, but if you have sort of every sample there is in the world, just having every sound known to mankind, every piece of software, everything else, actually leaves you kind of paralyzed by choice. And so actually, if you say, do you know what? I'm going to write a piece of music, but I'm only going to use instruments starting with the letter B. I was about to say J, thought that's going to be a fairly short piece of music. If you say, I'm only going to use samples which from programs beginning with letters A to C, suddenly you'll find you have to use your brain. And if you use your brain and your creative endeavours, you will suddenly discover that you're able to make much better music without having to spend any additional money.
So what I mean is, these kind of restrictions actually often lead to the greatest creative breakthroughs. So limit yourself to set yourself free. 4. What did you buy last Black Friday?
Go on, can you remember?
What did you buy the Black Friday before that?
What about the Black Friday before that? Do you still use it? Do you use it every day? Is it the best purchase you ever made?
Was it, with hindsight, the great value it seemed at the time?
If you can't even remember what it was,
if it didn't turn out to be quite the amazing value you thought it was, and you haven't looked at it for 6 months,
maybe you should be asking yourself whether Black Friday is actually the amazing saving which it sometimes is purported to be. Don't you think? Number 5, you don't have to buy stuff. And I don't mean you don't have to have stuff, but I mean you don't have to buy stuff.
And I'm not talking about free stuff, and I'm not talking about stealing things. Don't steal it. I'm talking about subscription services.
More and more you can take out a subscription, you can rent stuff.
Why don't you look at some of the subscription services which are out there? East West Composer Cloud, the Slate digital subscription service for all their plugins. Often these will represent real value. In the long term, you don't need to own something to get all the benefit from it, which will allow you to pay a reasonable monthly instalment subscription fee to access a massive quantity of software, samples, all the rest of it. You get real world-class plugins which would cost eye-watering amounts of money if you're going to buy the whole lot.
And you don't have to part with hundreds of pounds in order to buy software which you don't really need.
But you get it for a simple monthly subscription, and it just makes sense. Because then if you're not using it, you can just stop your subscription after the minimum period, whatever that might be. And if you do use it, then you're getting great value anyway. But a subscription can make a lot more sense than a Black Friday sale, which turns out not to be, if you know what I mean. And also it takes the edge off the whole Black Friday-ness of it all. It's not that sense of this, doom-laden deadline, which is looming out of the darkness. Oh no, it's my only chance of the year. No, it's not, just subscription is a sensible thing to do, okay? Right, so I hope I've convinced you that emptying your bank account on Black Friday might not necessarily be the best thing you could do. But I know there's a lot of you out there who are not convinced by my line of argument. People who are destined to spend their money probably every day this week leading up to Black Friday. Yep, that's me too. So, how do we manage to persuade ourselves, how can we convince ourselves that what we want is actually what we need? Okay, number 1, creative headroom. You need the space to think. You need the space to grow as a creative individual. I have to have the creative and technical space to allow my ideas to blossom. Creative headroom means acquiring enough gear, enough sounds, enough software to give your ideas the space to take flight, to lift off and to take me to a whole new level of performance. Creative headroom. Where did this phrase come from? I have no idea. I made it up because it sounds good. And is it true? It sounds convincing though, doesn't it? It sounds like the kind of thing which is a real thing, which might actually help you somehow justify buying another library, another piece of software, whatever else, in order to make better music. To be honest, I'm not convinced, but it might work with your nearest and dearest, so give it a go. Number 2, fact of life.
there's good research which says that most people regard a purchase of more than £100 or $100 as a major purchase. And that means that they need to consult another member of their family, their significant other. So this means that you need to be good at selling this product to your significant other or partner, not just to yourself. Now, in the world of sales and marketing, you are often told to emphasize the benefits, not the features. So here you go. When you have this conversation about this new sample library with your significant other, do not open with the line, "Hey, this new string library, it's got 10 dynamic layers
of dynamics in the sample, and you can control it on the mod wheel."
Unimpressed. However, if you say the benefit is, this new string library is so realistic that when I create music, it's going to speak to you. It's going to speak to your soul and to your heart. But just imagine this library will allow me to sit creatively at the heart of Air Lyndhurst, to surround myself with the world's greatest performers in order to create music that will transcend the bounds of my humdrum life. And if I am creatively fulfilled, that wonderful golden cloud will spread throughout the house and will inspire you as well. That's a benefit. Do you think they'd buy it? I don't know either. Give it a go. Number 3. Can't even do that. Number 3, the Virtuous Creative Circle. Okay, this is sort of half true. No, it's really true. Okay, so we buy ourselves a piece of kit, a sound, whatever. It sparks ideas. And the reward you get from one small purchase is many times greater than the purchase itself. And this sort of feeds into the creativity. That leads on in turn to more ideas, and the whole thing goes like an avalanche, and before you know it, you are doing something you could never have imagined you would be able to do before. Okay, it's like you can say the purchase is like the spark that lights the tinder, that lights the fire, that totally consumes my creative world, that will allow me to grow into this phoenix-like creative force that will take over all of Michigan, or wherever you happen to live. You insert your own particular location in there. Something like that. But the point, I mean, there is an element of truth in this, that sometimes if you make the right purchase, it can genuinely spark all kinds of things which might not have been there before. So it's this one tiny purchase that ignites an entire musical future. Number 4, efficiency. Okay, so what you say is, particularly to your significant other, hey, this piece of software, this sound, whatever it is, the golden unicorn sampled harp flute, it's going to make my workflow so much more efficient that I'm going to be able to produce music twice as fast. If I can produce music twice as fast, that means that rather than staying in my studio until 1 or 2 in the morning, I'll be free by 8 o'clock. We can go out to dinner, we can dance the night away. So this investment in this sample library, software, gadget, delete as applicable, will liberate time. So it's really an investment in you. It's a less investment in us. Do you think it'll work? Yeah? Convinced? Yeah. Finally. Okay, reason number 5. Then this, again, there's half truth in this. This has been a very, very hard year for most people. These are very weird times. Lots of industries need our support. We have to spend money now to support the industries of the future. We need to get out there, those who can afford to, and spend some money to stimulate the economy, particularly the creative industries, particularly musicians who have suffered terribly, and they really have. So all those musicians who play on all these libraries need to be rewarded because, and they genuinely, I mean, musicians badly need our support. Whether necessarily buying a sample library is the best way of doing that, I don't know. But nonetheless, the point and it sounds convincing when you say it, certainly, is get out there, support the musicians who support you through their creative endeavours. Now, more than ever, this Black Friday, you need to get out there, spend your money, support entrepreneurship, support enterprise, and let us look forward to a golden new dawn in 2021. The gist of it is that you're spending money for all our futures, not just for yourself. Did that convince you? Convince me. I'm going to rush off and buy something. Those are my 5 top tips for avoiding Black Friday and my 5 top tips for convincing yourself that what you want is actually what you need. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, then please subscribe, or don't subscribe if you don't want to. But you will be missing out on notifications when we do live things and all that kind of stuff. And below this little video, there are links to various downloadable things which are free and therefore extremely good value. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Catch up soon. Bye-bye.